Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I got a very unique video for you guys. I got a video on this new game that came out recently called Book Smugglers. I want to thank the developer for actually sending me a copy and a code for this game. I do really appreciate it. And I'm also going to do a stream of this game on Wednesday, this Wednesday coming up after this video. But anyways, about this game, this is a historical game, and this is actually set in a time period that I haven't really seen any other game set in. And it's a very unique setting, very unique part of history, and I think it's a part of history that a lot of people should also remember and a lot of people should learn about. But basically, this game takes place in Lithuania in the year 1864. And at this time, Lithuania is actually being occupied by the Russian Empire, who have taken over the country since the partitions of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and have occupied it. And what's basically going on is that the Russian Empire is attempting to destroy Lithuanian culture, the Lithuanian language. They have essentially made texts, books that are in Lithuanian illegal. They have basically closed down Lithuanian schools in Lithuania itself, and they are basically just teaching kids to speak Russian. And so what they are trying to do is they're trying to Russify Lithuania, to destroy their culture, you know, their heritage, their language, just trying to erase the entire Lithuanian identity. A lot of this stuff also happened in Poland as well, and it just shows the horrible things that the Russian Empire was doing at this time. In this game, you're actually playing as a book smuggler who is smuggling texts, books that are in Lithuanian, in order to, you know, teach people the Lithuanian language, so that the language and the culture can still be preserved. This was a real thing that happened. You know, Russia did stuff like this in Lithuania and Poland for decades. But anyways, let's start off the new game here. And if you like the game Papers, Please, you will also like this game. There's a lot of choices in this game. You have to be careful in who you trust.
In the late 18th century, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was torn apart by surrounding empires, and Lithuania fell under Russian rule. In 1863, people rose up against the empire, but the revolt was crushed. The Tsarist regime banned all printed materials in the Latin alphabet, and unless written in Cyrillic, every single book, pamphlet, and prayer was now forbidden. For Lithuanians, these printed words were more than ink on paper. They were memories of ancestors, songs of freedom, voices that the regime could not silence. And so, a movement was born. Brave men and women known as knygnešiai, the book smugglers, risked their lives carrying banned literature across the empire's borders and into the hands of people, building a quiet network of resistance. You carry more than books. You carry the voice of a nation. Hurry. The people are waiting.
Welcome to the 19th century Lithuania, where the ban on the press came into force. As a book smuggler, you have to overcome the obstacles in your path to deliver books. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this time period here. So, the revolt that they were talking about is they were talking about the January Uprising, which happened in 1863, and the uprising went until 1864. So, the backstory is that the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was one of the largest countries in Europe that has existed since the 1500s, and it basically collapsed in the 1790s. What happened is Russia came into the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and annexed the eastern parts of Poland and had engulfed and annexed all of Lithuania. Prussia, the largest German state, which later became Germany, annexed parts of western Poland, and then the Austrian Empire annexed parts of southern Poland. But all of Lithuania fell under Russian control. And so for decades, people had lived under that occupation. And a lot of people don't know that a lot of European countries had suffered under imperialism as well. A lot of people don't know about the full crimes of the Russian Empire because they know about the bad things the Soviet Union had done. But they don't know as much about the Russian Empire that existed beforehand. So the January Uprising that happened in 1863, it happened throughout Poland and Lithuania, and people were basically rebelling against the Russian rule. They were tired of the Russians occupying, you know, their countries. They were tired of the Russians looting their resources. The Russians stole a lot of coal, for example, from Poland. So they depleted a lot of Poland's natural resources. That's where my parents are from. And in Lithuania, it was the same. They looted and pillaged their country. And in 1863, the revolt happened. And the revolt went on for a year. Unfortunately, it failed. And the Russians had crushed it. Now, what the Russians did afterwards is they put in Russification policies in both Poland and Lithuania. And what they essentially did was they banned all books that were in Polish and Lithuanian, and they only allowed Russian books. So they only allowed the Russian Cyrillic alphabet. They didn't allow Latin. They also went after the Roman Catholic Church, which was strong in Poland and Lithuania. They wanted, to promote Russian Orthodoxy. So a lot of priests were arrested. And so schools that taught Polish, schools that taught Lithuanian were shut down. And the Russian Empire was just teaching kids to speak Russian. They wanted to Russify them, to erase the Polish and the Lithuanian identity. They literally tried to destroy the culture and the language and the heritage of these nationalities. And so in this time period, the book smugglers, there were people that basically risked their lives and risked their freedom because they could be arrested for this, smuggling, books in their languages, setting up like schools in Lithuania, for example, that would, they would bring these books and they would teach kids the Lithuanian language to basically preserve their culture. These were some of the biggest heroes of this time period. If it wasn't for a lot of these people, the cultures of these countries might have been destroyed. So they resisted the Russians for a long time. A lot of people don't know this, that Russia did this. They tried to erase, Polish and Lithuanian culture. And on top of that, is that modern-day Russia doesn't really teach much about this. They teach at the January uprising that it was a revolt against Tsarist Russia and that Russia was trying to restore order. But the Russian education system doesn't teach to the full extent on how Russia acted after the revolt, how they basically tried to destroy Polish and Lithuanian culture. And if you were caught smuggling these books, what would happen to you? You could face imprisonment, the government could take your house, your property, or worse, they could exile you to Siberia. They could send you to the far eastern parts of Siberia. That's how a lot of Europeans ended up in Siberia, and they would just dump you in the wilderness somewhere where you would die. Or they could send you to katorgas, which katorgas were basically Russian imperial work camps. They were work camps that the Russian Empire created. A lot of people don't know about that. People don't know it wasn't the communists that actually started the original work camp system. Under the communists, it was called the gulags, but they weren't the ones who invented it. They were just the ones who made the majority of them. Before that, Russia always had a system of forced labor in Siberia, and they were called katorgas under the Russian Empire. And a lot of Polish and Lithuanian, freedom fighters and heroes were actually sent to those camps, where a lot of them unfortunately died. And so this game is going to cover this event, specifically in Lithuania, and what was going on. So welcome to 19th century Lithuania, where the ban on the press came into force. As a book smuggler, you have to overcome the obstacles in your path to deliver books. Money, food, and books are your resources. If you run out of health points or books, your mission will end. You can move the screen by dragging with the mouse or using the WASD keys. Okay. Tavern brawl. Start. When the night falls, weary and tired seek only to sink their burdens at the bottom of a bottle. Thus is Dionysus' curse and blessing. When you arrive at the tavern, it is being torn down via the traditional fistfight between the residents. Violent debauchery, unquestionably. Ask the owner for a nightly stay. Request some booze and join the fun. Leave the barbarians to themselves. Ask the owner for a nightly stay. The tavern owner accepts the money and escorts you to your room. The night's rest doesn't come quickly, however, as the violence downstairs stops not long before the rooster's crowing. Plus 15 health points, okay. Okay, so you can choose your path here. Abandoned campsite. Farmer in a wheat field. Among the golden wheat, a small farmer is diligently working the land. His face shows signs of hard work and life. He looks like a man who might be open to business. Ask about work opportunities? The farmer kindly accepts your offer to help him with the work in the fields. After taking the tools from the shed, you work together in the field. For honest work, the farmer gives you money and food. Windmill. Okay, start. A local miller and his son are trying to fix the grindstones. They look annoyed and tired. Perhaps there is something you can do. Show him your wares? The millers buy, a book with great happiness. As a thank you, they also add bread. Bread 8 rubles. Rubles is the Russian money. And you have to be very careful on who you trust in this game because they can report you to the Russian imperial authorities. So, like, if you were like a book smuggler in Lithuania in this time period, you were carrying Lithuanian text, the punishments could be very severe. They could send you to Siberia. Okay. Drunk, gendery, suspicious pub owner. What could be a better for a tired traveler in the night than catching a glimpse of a pub? It is perfect place to rest and resupply. The owner, on the other hand, seems as shady as they come. Definitely not to offer, to exchange a book for food. No. Offer a bribe for discretion and buy food. He accepts the bribe, prepares your food, and even offers you a drink on the house. Okay. Travel fatigue. You are hungry and exhausted. You feel that you need a quick rest. Eat. Oh. Checkpoint. In the distance, you notice the lights emanating from checkpoint. At the checkpoint, as you draw near, a policeman approach and request your documents, questioning your destination and the purpose of your travel. Ooh, talk your way out. Some outcomes may return you to the same choice menu. Ooh. Your answers are inconsistent. The policeman's expressions harden as they press you for details. Your explanation raises more questions than it answers, and you decide to flee. One policeman pursues you on foot, while others mount horses to join the chase, marking the start of a tense pursuit. Ooh. Oh, it's a church. Help, please. Gendam arms are after me. Say no more. Get into the coffin and keep a low profile. We'll be lucky if no one checks. Quick hide, okay. Thank God, I thought I'd be caught this time. I assume you know why they were chasing me. So about this, I think that I think this might be a Roman Catholic priest. Lithuania is largely a Roman Catholic nation, and Russia was, Eastern Orthodox. And Russia absolutely, at this time period, the Russian Empire despised Catholicism. They really hated Catholicism. They didn't think that Catholics would be loyal to Russia. Because Russia has their own, in the Eastern Orthodox religion, Russia has their own holy leader. I don't remember the name of him, the title. But because, you know, Catholics is, you know, the leader of the Catholic Church would be, you know, the Pope, is that the Russian Empire really did not like Catholics, and a lot of churches were shut down, a lot of priests were actually exiled to Siberia, a lot of priests were arrested, and so, priest is probably one of the few people that you could trust in this time period. Yes, these days, book smugglers are everywhere, and so are the, gendarmes. If you're caught, prison is certain. Where are you bringing this literature? To, Jerbarkas. Apologies for being blunt, but could you possibly, be, Motigius, Valencius? Yes, indeed, smuggler. What is your name? It's, Krista Jonas. Thank you, father. Valencius, you truly are, as they say, a miracle worker. We are living in difficult times, and yet, no one immediately becomes a book smuggler. Tell me, what did you do before you started smuggling books? I was a musical performer. I played the guitar at Village of Festivals. Attribute 10% chance of a positive outcome. 1+ ruble for each book delivered. I was an official's assistant. Used to help with papers. Wasn't my thing, though. Attribute increased reputation, gains and losses. Start with forged documents. I have worked in the field since I was a child. The stamina that I gained is useful today. Attribute increased inventory capacity by 1. 20 max health. I'm gonna go with the forged documents. Bureaucrat, you say. That's how I will be calling you from now on, since you're already going to Barkas. Take this bundle of books to a secret school. The children there are learning in our own language, or trying to. Locals need those for a secret school. So these are the secret schools I talked about, is that these would be going on in both Poland and Lithuania. They were both experiencing the Russification policies, and these schools were, largely hidden. They were, usually in, like, basements of homes, in some back room of a store, but if the Russian authorities found out about this, they would shut down the school, destroy all the books in Polish and Lithuanian, and they would send the teachers and anybody involved possibly to exile, and they would take the kids. Sounds like a cause worth risking for. I admire your courage, son, but you must be careful. The gendarmes have caught more than one book smuggler on this path. May God be with you during this journey, Krista Jonas. This is the shop where you can purchase food. However, an item to see its price and description. Press on the button to buy it. Click the inventory button to see your gear and food. Click the edge of the screen to move to a different room. Click a character to talk to them. They each sell different items. Once you have bought everything you need, check the marker, click the marker on the map to begin your first mission. Make sure you have prepared before starting the first mission. Okay? You've got work to do, I see. What tools are you after today? What would it take for you to join the resistance? So, gotta be careful who you trust. You always seem busy. Why do you keep at it? If I stop, the world falls apart a piece at a time. Show me your wares. I'm gonna buy the axe. What would it take for you to join the resistance? Well, we'll take a risk. A miracle and a way to keep my family safe. So a lot of people would just, they sided with the Russians, not necessarily because they supported them, but because they were scared. That was the reason a lot of people had sided with the Russians. Okay, we'll get some sausage for the road here. Deliver the book safely. Whispers have reached you from Valencius, rumors of something stirring in a nearby village, something big enough to shift the tide. Tension hangs heavy, but no one dares step forward. It falls to you to uncover the truth. Start. You got word from Valencius about something major happening in one of the nearby villages. Someone has to investigate, and there aren't many volunteers. Okay, set out. So, how are you going to find your way to the village? Travel on foot along the main road? Probably not a good idea. Travel through a forest to avoid the gendarmes. Get into a random car by negotiating with its owner. Travel through the forest. Travel through a forest to avoid the gendarmes. In the forest you find a wounded fox caught in a trap. The poor thing is desperate to escape its predicament. Will you assist? Open the trap. Open the trap. The fox's wet eyes glimmer with gratitude and relief as it runs back to where it came from. Another good deed is to make sure this gray, sad world, a slightly better place. Now on to your goal. Your quest begins. Your quest begins. As you go through a quiet village square, a disturbing scene unfolds. A small group of gendarmes standing around a smoldering pile of burning books, their flames casting harsh shadows. Nearby, book smugglers tied to a post, his face defiant, yet filled with dread as he watches his precious cargo burn. Gendarmes laugh and mutter about teaching him a lesson to those who spread banned books. Cause a distraction and try to help the smuggler escape. Cause a distraction and try to help the smuggler escape. You set fire to the gendarme station and hope it catches their attention before it's too late. Your plan succeeds. Gendarmes rush to protect their belongings, leaving the square unattended. You take this chance to rescue the already burning smuggler, but the books continue to burn as you cut his ropes. The hell are you doing? Save the books, you idiot! He cries with both relief and frustration in his voice. Just let me die, knowing it wasn't for naught. This book smuggler wants to forfeit his life, but in whose authority is it to try and measure its value? Save him. Save him. You carry the poor soul out of danger. Many valuable texts were lost, but a friend got saved, and that's a relief. These terrible burns he suffered will never fully heal, but at least he's alive. Few would scorn you for choosing a human life over the books. Reputation. 56, decent soul. You try to do the right thing, and more often than not you succeed. Okay. Oh, we got some more people here. Well, if it isn't someone with a bag full of secrets, what's it worth to keep me quiet? Can I trust you on this? Trust me? I wouldn't. You would sell out your own mother, wouldn't you? If the price is right, why not? Ugh. Show me your wares. Oh, okay. The weapon that can be used to repel wild beasts or for defense purpose, a gun. Okay. Who's this? What do you need, and what do I get in return? Been hunting much lately? Enough to keep me fed, not enough to get, caught. Can you spare anything for me? If you got the coin, I've got the goods. Show me your wares. Oh, he also sells a gun. Father's request. An old man in a tattered coat stops you, by the roadside. He says nothing at first, then quietly asks you to deliver a single book, a Lithuanian language Bible, to his daughter, now married to a Russian officer. She's forgotten the words, he says, but maybe she'll remember the sound. Ooh, this is really risky. When traveling along the dusty road, you see a carriage with a fallen wheel. Elderly farmer standing next to it. Bypass the carriage undetected. The farmer's too occupied with his broken wheel to notice you. No suspicion arises. Another book smuggler. Another book smuggler. You meet a fellow bookseller on the side of the road and realize that he is in danger. His gaze is full of anxiety, and his face shows exhaustion. Colleague, he calls you quietly. I've been spotted, and gendarmes are roaming everywhere. I need your help. Take his books to draw suspicion away. He looks as if sudden realization just struck him. Paranoia took over all reason, and he ran away into the darkness without saying a word. Yeah, so you don't know who to trust. Rapid River. Traditional hut. Let's try going there. You meet a man who appears to not just be a friendly face, but also quite interested in traditional culture. Folklorist, perhaps. He might be a good buyer. Sell him a book. He turns out not to be a folklorist, but a generous one at that. He pays well for the book. 10 rubles. Okay. Wrong turn. Even the best survival instincts can't always prevent a single wrong step. By the time you realize you've lost the path, the forest is already closed in around you. Now you must find a way out. Look for moss to find north. It's noon. Opposite the sun must be north. Go towards some kind of landmark. Oh, you're hopelessly lost. The landmark you were following vanished, and now you're out of supplies. Ooh. Policeman on patrol. Why would the gendarmes patrol the woods in the middle of the night? Doesn't matter now. Find a way out. Try to get past him. Hide until he passes. You crawl into the shelter of the trees and wait for the police to pass. But they, start walking towards you and you have to run. As a result, you twist your leg and lose a couple books. Oh no. Eat. Okay. Oh, I don't have any food left. Abandoned campsite. At night, the road leads you to the lakeshore, a seemingly abandoned campsite, and a standing shelter ought to provide the basic comfort before dawn. To reach your destination faster, you stay on track. You decide to continue the journey. Curious child. A village child looks at you with big eyes. He energetically jumps up to you and asks you a question that gives you a moment of relief. He asks with a smile, "What is your favorite animal?" Humor the kid, play along. After talking to the child and telling him that your favorite animal is a dog, the child is disappointed and runs away. Windmill. Forest cabin. Exercising caution, using the cover of the forest, you discover a mysterious hut. The crumbling roof and cracks in the walls hint at the abandoned building's history. What does it hold in store? Take anything that might be useful. Some stale bread. It'd be best to pray that it's not moldy. Stars. You are lost in the forest. The world shrinks around you with no source of light. The only guides now are the stars shining brightly in the dark sky. Follow the North Star. You guide yourself by looking forward, forgetting dangers below. A single misstep, a fall into the hole, and a twisted ankle. Ooh. Trapper steps on a trap. While traversing a forest, you hear a shout of pain nearby. You stumble upon a rug trapper with his foot caught in one of his traps. He winches, clutching his bloodied leg, and looks up. "A little help, stranger. Seems I got myself in a bit of a bind." Force it open with your bare hands. To gather your strength and force the trap open with your bare hands. Your palms are grazed and bloody, but the trapper is finally free. Later you share a humble meal together, having forged a strange bond through pain. However, your hands will take time to heal. Oh, restart the level. Trying to get through it. We didn't survive. Okay. Bypass him. Swamp. As if day wasn't challenging enough, a new obstacle, a huge treacherous foul swamp, whose clutches are the undoing of the careless. Find a path around the swamp. You spend significantly more time than you planned. The hunger is unbearable, but you cross the swamp. Traditional hut. Sell him a book. Yeah, this was the guy we sold the book to, remember? Okay. Blacksmith or a wrong turn. Passing through a humble village, you hear an anvil thumping nearby. Walking towards this sound, you see a large man with a beard and a hammer. The blacksmith, wizened by the years, understands who you are and is ready to help you. Purchase a knife? The blacksmith makes a discount and sells you his best knife. A sharp blade shines, reflecting the face of his wielder. Okay. Policeman on patrol. Oh. Try to get past them. This is the police. Using the cover of trees, you accidentally snap a dry branch. The police spot you and give chase. After shouting warnings, they open fire and a single bullet grazes you, but you manage to escape. Homeless man or abandoned campsite. A man in a tattered clothes with blackened teeth passes by. His eyes hold a flicker of hope. Suddenly, he turns around and approaches you asking for money. Give him money, a solution to almost every problem. When you bend down to give the homeless man some money, he pulls out a book from your inside pocket without you noticing it. Oh. Yeah, I got pickpocketed. Traveling merchant? Moving in an opposite direction on a forest road is a small man carrying a large bag. He offers you a look at his goods. Try to sell some literature? The surprised merchant radiates special interest, agrees to your hired offered price, and also adds some supplies. Okay, we sold a book. Eat. Forest cabin or windmill. Let's search the outside this time. Once again, you discover the opposite of something useful. To make matters worse, you drop a log on your ankle. Ooh. Inside the hut, among the discarded scraps, you find an item that still could be used. Rope. Okay, so it's different each time. Not always the same thing that happens. Stars. Okay. Make a shelter for the night. You're lost in the forest. Let's do that. A shroud of night gives way to a new day. Rise and shine. Trapper steps on a trap. Disarm the trap with instruments. Okay, let's try that. With your tools, you manage to free the trapper. You do it rather clumsily, causing him considerable discomfort. Even so, he remains grateful and rewards you. Books delivered 7, rubles earned 35. Okay. We got through it. Okay, let's get the rope. And we'll get the bandage, too. And we'll get the hazelnuts. Okay, let's do it here. While making your way past the tree line, you witness a peculiar figure of a man, rummaging through his belongings. He notices your presence and warmly invites you to come over. On approach, an odor of strong beverages pierces the nostrils. Ignore the man and carry on sober. Your attitude towards a drunken smuggler angers the latter so much that he rushes at you with fists. You do eventually get him off your back, but suffer a few bruises in the process. Priest? Let's go to the priest. The village priest is standing outside the local chapel, carrying on an expression of thoughtfulness and concern. Following his gaze reveals a gaping hole in the chapel's roof. He greets you warmly and speaks of a chance to contribute to the chapel's mission. Now I don't have any money left. Promise a donation later and leave. The priest doesn't believe a single word you say and leaves in silence. Hidden cash. Evening, deep woods in the fading light of the setting sun. Your eye catches a metallic shining beneath a pile of leaves and branches. A chest, old, possibly abandoned, and there's an eerie sensation surrounding it. You start to wonder if it was hidden there for a reason. Use a tool to force it open. The chest presents its contents. Before you are piles of rotten meat and vegetables. Who in their right mind would hide this? The stench is so unbearable that it makes you sick. Ugh. Lost dog, the marketplace. As you move through the bustling marketplace, a disheveled merchant grabs your arm. Please, he whispers urgently. I know you have the books. My sister, a secret teacher, needs one desperately. A sudden commotion as the cart spills its apples distracts the crowd. The merchant tightens his grip. Hurry, I'll make it worth your while. This guy could be working for the Russians. Quietly slip him a book. Let's see. The merchant hides the book skillfully and nods in gratitude. As you pass by his stall later, he discreetly slips a pouch of rubles in your hand. Okay. Crashed wagon. You stumble upon a wrecked wagon by the side of the road. A drunken man is slumped behind it, looking dazed and distraught. His horse lies motionless, a casualty of the crash. The man, slurring his words, looks at you and says, "Can't believe this happened. I need to find someone to help me fix this mess. Could you watch my things while I go?" Agree to watch the wreckage. An hour or two passes by the time the drunk returns. Two strong-looking young villagers look at him with pity. The three of you fix the wagon while its owner watches from the side. After everything is done, you and the villager get rewarded with a couple of rubles each. Okay, everything's going good so far. Spoiled food. A meal you just purchased gives off a foul, a sour smell. Something's not right. Throw it away. You toss it, and minutes later, a stray dog sniffs at it, then walks away. Even it won't touch it. Good call. Remains. A foul stench hangs in the still air. As you move through a thinning patch of forest, you spot a lump lying in half hidden among the leaves, twisted, bloated and crawling with flies. It looks like a carcass, fur, maybe limbs. Hard to tell. Could be a deer or something else entirely. Maybe looted? I just hope it's not a human body. As you step closer, a low growl rumbles from the thicket. A wild dog lunges, snapping at your hand. You back up, heart pounding. The dog watches you without moving. Eat. Okay. We got that. Okay. Gendarme's inspecting a carriage of a merchant. The ever-persistent gendarmes, have stopped the carriage you're traveling in. Judging by their expressions, they're in the mood for a very thorough search. Run away from the gendarmes. While the gendarmes inspect the carriage, you evade them by running into the brushes. Oh, we got away. That could have been bad. Abandoned campsite. Oh, let's go to the abandoned campsite. At night, the road leads you to the lakeshore. A seemingly abandoned campsite and a standing shelter ought to provide the basic comforts before dawn. Rest is for the weak. 2 hours of sleep isn't a big sacrifice. Question of time. Frozen river. A frozen river looks safe. Are you ready to bet your life on the ice's sturdiness? Test the thickness of the ice with a tool. Use the axe. After a few attempts, a place where the ice is thick enough is found. Good work on not dying of hypothermia. Yeah, because if we fell in the water, even with a rope, we would have frozen. Bear. Oh no, this could be bad. Very few survive when faced with a frenzied bear. On which side of the statistics you'll end up is going to be decided in the next few moments. Try to avoid confrontation, scare the bear away with loud noise. Fight the bear, bold aren't you? I'm using the axe. Your weapons do manage to wound the bear, if only slightly. The angered beast retaliates and almost rips off your right arm before finally retreating to its lair. People aren't going to believe you when you tell them about this encounter. Tess Hustler. In a quiet alley behind the village tavern, you notice a man sitting on a worn stool. A weathered barrel serves as a table, where a chessboard is already set. He doesn't speak, he just looks up, meets your gaze, and taps the empty seat across from him with a single finger. Shake your head and continue walking. As you leave, the man flashes you a vulgar hand gesture and turns back to his board. Yeah, that might have been trouble. Storm. Okay. Sinister-looking clouds gather on the horizon. A strong and chilly gale signifies its coming. It will be most unfortunate to get caught in a storm. Proceed despite the storm. Try to find cover in one of the houses. Try to find cover. None of the abandoned buildings provide an adequate shelter. Sickness becomes your punishment for such a mistake. Okay. We did it. We got through it. Okay. Okay, guys, so, I'm gonna do a stream on Wednesday in which I get through pretty much the rest of the story. So, thank you guys for watching. Give the game a chance. I will have the game linked down below if you want to check it out. Thank you again to the developer for sending me a code. I do really appreciate you guys making a game set in this time period. My parents are from Poland, so I also, know about what Poland had, gone through, and also Lithuania, the exact same thing with the Russian Empire trying to destroy the culture and the language of both countries. But thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Drop a like if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.